One of our obligations to the crypto ecosystem is making sure both regulators and our clients know the really hard questions to ask us. We want to make sure they understand how to ensure we're doing our job right and protecting their assets. So let me give you a couple examples of hard questions. When you're thinking about keygen, are there sufficient sources of entropy? How are you measuring those sources of entropy to ensure they're sufficient? We've got a team dedicated to thinking about this and producing the right materials that we can publish, such as our RFI, to ensure everyone in the industry is educated appropriately.
There's a lot of misconception about cryptocurrency today. There's a lot of mistrust. There's a lot of uncertainty. No one walks into their bank and asks, can I please see your vault? Because I'm not sure you're going to keep my money safe. But when we talk about cryptocurrency companies broadly, that happens all the time. People aren't looking at this industry as regulated. People aren't looking at this industry as having clear insurance guidelines. People aren't looking at this industry as having history. This is the best thing about building a custodian at Coinbase. We do have history. We've been doing this longer than almost anybody in the market. We do have regulation. We're NYDFS regulated. We do have an expert team of security professionals that have been focused on this exact problem for almost a decade. One of the most important pieces to think about is where you fall on the security versus accessibility spectrum. You can think about this as a spectrum where at one end you have a private key locked in a concrete cube dumped in the ocean. Very, very safe, but inaccessible. On the other hand, you can think about carrying around a bare private key in your back pocket. Very accessible, but not entirely safe. Coinbase Custody focuses on the security side of this spectrum. Our goal is assets you give us are safe, period. In our 7 years in this space, in our experience designing systems for highly secure custody, the trade-off that we've come to over that time has been this slightly left of center, highly secure, slightly slower system for the vast majority of use cases. For example, when we think about key generation, we're doing key generation in an electromagnetically shielded tent so that we don't leak any information to attackers that might be listening. Once we get in the tent, once we seal it up, we verify that we're actually in a radio frequency sterile environment. We unbox to brand new in-the-box laptops. They're offline when they start, they stay offline throughout, and they're destroyed without ever coming back online. These laptops are set up in the tent with a key generation distribution of Linux that we put together. Once we connect all that up, we flip a coin, we pick one of them, and we use that laptop. This is to sort of further isolate the risk of maybe there's a partial supply chain compromise, inject some randomness in the process, make us hard to predict. We actually go into the key generation process itself, which is fully automated. At that point, we click a button, it pulls the randomness, it generates the keys, and then it walks through our splitting and sharding process to generate multiple encrypted shards via an algorithm called Shamir's secret sharing. This is an algorithm that lets us take a chunk of sensitive data, split it up into a number of parts, but only require a subset of those parts to come back together to restore that original piece of data. This ensures that any action that is taken by the custodian is taken by a group of people, never by a single individual. We then print those. So at the end of this, we've gone from some people standing outside a tent to a printed, bound, labeled, and securely stored brand new set of keys that we'll then make available via custody once we've transferred the backups we generate to our backup sites. One of the reasons that we focus on this offline storage model and that we've come to this model after 7 years and 4 generations of cold storage is that we see it as critical that we provide even security coverage for any asset a customer may want to bring onto Coinbase Custody. We not only get the consensus benefits of a traditional multi-sig approach, but we remove from the equation the inconsistency of protection levels so that any asset on Coinbase Custody is protected to the same very high bar as every other asset, no matter what the underlying security of that asset looks like. If you're interested in how to leverage this level of highly secure system design, please go to custody.coinbase.com.